Today I'm in a county that breathed life into oxygen. So, where am I? Well, if you can hold your breath long enough, all will be revealed. Today, our house-hunting pair have left the wives at home as they go searching for a new family home. What do you think the good ladies would think?
Well, I think they'd be fighting to know which one is going to have this as their kitchen.
And their property shopping list is a rather tall order. Plenty of character, plenty of charm.
Plenty of height.
Plenty of height. Today, I'm in Wiltshire at the 18th century Bowood House. And it was here in the summer of 1774 that pioneering British scientist Joseph Priestley held a magnifying glass to focus the sun's rays on a sample of mercury oxide. Now, the surprising outcome was a gas which, well, for reasons he didn't quite understand, made candles burn more brightly. However, it was a French chemist who actually named the gas oxygen just a few years later. A remarkable story and, well, just like the Wiltshire countryside, a real breath of fresh air. Wiltshire sits at the gateway to the West Country. Surrounded by 6 counties, including Hampshire, Dorset and Somerset, its landscape is mostly rural, with 2/3 of it lying on chalk. The region is famous for its Neolithic monuments, including Silbury Hill. Built almost 5,000 years ago, the artificial chalk mass stands 30 metres high, making it the tallest prehistoric man-made mound in Europe. The area's charming villages are straight out of an English countryside picture book, with the architecture reflecting the lie of the land. The village of Teffent Magna in the south has charming thatched cottages lining its streets, and the county is awash with handsome stone houses, clay roof tiles, and whitewashed cottages concealing the local chalk in their walls. So, with its ancient history and eclectic architecture, Wiltshire certainly makes a very tempting place to call home. Here in Wiltshire, the average price of a detached property is a tad under £300,000. Now that's around £33,000 above the national figure. But although homes here do fall on the pricier side, with some of the finest landscapes and vistas that Britain has to offer, you can certainly see why. So let's meet today's buyers to discover exactly what attracts them to the beautiful Wiltshire countryside. Richard and his father-in-law Peter both work in the family printing business. They've taken on the task of finding their families a new home, and they've made the unusual decision of leaving the Portsmouth area and heading to Wiltshire in search of one big joint country house.
There's going to be Anne, Peter's wife, Ruth, my wife, Peter's daughter, and our daughter Rebecca, who's 4, and Oliver, who's just turned 4 weeks. The whole family all in together. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah.
Their houses are currently a 25-minute drive apart, and they get together at least 4 times a week. They've decided that being on each other's doorstep could be mutually beneficial.
It suddenly, quite quickly, became apparent to us that to buy 2 separate houses would be, 1, very expensive, and 2, neither of us would get actually what we wanted. The plan come together that we would pool our resources and also get living babysitters then.
Peter and his wife's Portsmouth home is under offer, and Richard and his family live in a rented house near Portsmouth. They sold theirs 18 months ago.
I'd love to stay here, but for us to find the property and the space we actually want, we just can't afford to do it. Part of the reason for only moving 90 minutes away is it's still within reach of coming back to visit friends and family. And it's a nice area, but it's just too busy.
The whole family is excited about what a new life in Wiltshire will mean.
We'd like to be able to open the windows in the morning and see not bricks and smoke and tarmac roads, but to be able to see trees, fields, if we could see some hills as well, a little bit of water, well, how wonderful. But yeah, we would like to see a more rural view than a city view.
But they're realistic too.
I think it would be foolish of us to say, oh, we are such perfect people, nothing could ever go wrong. We know that it could, and that is a risk. Having said that, we've had a close relationship since they got married in 2005. So I think we feel we could work through the sort of
Definitely. And
the bad times, you know, or the misunderstandings that we would have.
But even if there are some bumps in the road, the two families coming together as one is something everyone is looking forward to.
This move will change our lives very significantly. Anne and I have moved home so many times in our life, and this would be our final move. And also just knowing that we are able to continue this really close relationship that we have with Rebecca and Ruth and Richard, and with Oliver as he grows up.
we have that balance that I think a lot of people would love to have. This move will be fantastic. It just gives us such a great lifestyle.
Richard and Peter and their families are happy to consider moving anywhere in Wiltshire, as long as they're no more than a 90-minute drive from Southampton, where Peter and Anne's son lives, with Peter's mother living nearby. But before our pair take on the task of searching for their two-in-one family home, I'm meeting them in Wiltshire to find out more about their great expectations.
So, Peter and Richard, this is a first for me, because your wives have sent you out to find them the perfect property.
Yes, yeah, they're very trusting, aren't
They are
they?
really trusting, yes. Tell me exactly what it is you are after.
Well, we're very close as families, and I love my granddaughter and my new grandson. So the thought of them moving away and us not being able to see them regularly would be a disappointment. And also we have a small printing business that we want to bring on site as well, so that we can have a much, much better life-work balance. And we also want at least an acre of garden so the kids can run around and enjoy the open air.
I've always wanted to have sort of some small holding animals, some chickens, maybe that, growing our own veggies, which when you're in the countryside, you've just got to do.
So, two families wanting to live together, but equally have their own space.
Very much
Yes.
So how many bedrooms are we after?
so. Pretty much 6 bedrooms
Yep.
in a property that's dividable.
That's interesting. So you don't mind a bit of a project then when you said it?
No, we're quite handy at that.
I'm presuming we're looking for a large kitchen, are we?
For me and Ruth and the kids, we'd love an open plan sort of dining area, sort of living space, a separate lounge or something like that would be nice.
We want a really decent-sized kitchen. We also want a couple of other reception rooms. We're not ready for the one-bedroom granny flat just yet.
So where's the compromise going to be? Because if you've done a lot of research, and I'm presuming you have...
Lots.
Well, I've looked at nearly 100 properties and more than that
I'm
on
off.
paper.
I'm off. So 100 properties, you haven't found it. I'm feeling the pressure. No wonder your wives have sent you out looking if you haven't got it already.
We are realistic enough to realise that we're not going to find exactly what we might think we want on paper, but there needs to be enough there that makes us think, wow, this really is a dream house and this is really somewhere we'd be happy to spend the rest of our lives.
Do you want to be near a town, a village?
For us, people are just very important, you know. There needs to be a local pub with some nice beers, but actually some nice people in
I
there.
should have asked that question. I'm worried about the house. I've now got to get the whole community sorted. I can see why the ladies have sent you two out to me. So I've got to find this substantial property, two-in-one, I'm going to call it. We want acres of land. We want to be near a thriving community, and all for...
750,000.
But I've got to find an awful lot for 750,000, haven't
like a
I?
challenge.
Yes. Say we find you the perfect property. Can we nudge up a little bit?
Yeah, there's a little bit there.
Just a
bit?
little.
So we've got 3 smashing properties lined up to show you.
Great.
Boys, should we get started?
Yes, yes.
Follow me.
Thank you.
Richard and Peter have a very generous budget between them and are prepared to go even higher for the right place. They need to accommodate 6 people in 2 separate properties, or one house with the potential to divide into 2. They're planning to have the family printing business on site, and they'd like a garden large enough to keep 2 growing children and possibly some livestock happy. We're joining Richard and Peter midway through a lengthy property search, and they're hoping that we'll be the answer to finding their dream home. They'll be visiting 3 contrasting rural properties, and only after touring each one will they discover its price. The final stop will be the Mystery House, which will offer them an added extra that will definitely give them something new to think about.
Have Have you, as a family, as an extended family, have you ever lived together or been on holiday together before?
We holiday every year together.
Do you?
When we sold our house 18 months ago, we moved in with Anne and Peter for a period of time until we found a property to rent.
So you, in a way, you've road tested it.
Yeah.
As much as you can, you know, living day after day, week after week is clearly different than just a couple of weeks on holiday.
We're beginning our house hunt towards the centre of the county on the outskirts of the village of Enford, 15 miles north of Salisbury. The surrounding countryside is a designated area of outstanding natural beauty, and the village, with its hedge-lined lanes, runs along the River Avon. There's also a church, a pub and a village hall in its centre, so there are plenty of activities to keep locals, both young and slightly more mature, busy. Down a quiet country lane just set back from the middle of the village is our first property, this handsome Grade 2 listed brick and flint cottage, which has worn lots of hats in its lifetime. Since the 17th century, it's been home to many diverse trades.
It's got a, what you might call a wow factor, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just the ordinary...
I like that.
Yeah.
It dates back to the 1600s.
OK.
And over the years, it's had different businesses being run out of it. I'll explain more when we step inside. Are you ready?
Definitely.
Yep.
Very much so.
Entering through one of the front doors, a large open reception area, once an alehouse, leads to an impressive 28-foot sitting room.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's big.
nice and big, isn't it? Yeah.
This would have been the butcher's, this part. It has been opened up. Mind your heads, boys. You're nearly all right there, Peter,
Yeah,
aren't
but
you?
I'm only 6'1", you see. Richard is 6'3".
It's a room you could entertain in very well and be the family all together, but the height is scaring me a bit.
I want to take us through into this next part of the property, because this originally was the farrier's.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
I think there's enough room for you there, Richard, don't you?
Yeah.
You do, indeed.
This is where the farrier used to work. Obviously, using that.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think the good ladies would think, Anne and Ruth?
Well, I think they'd be fighting to know which one is going to have this as their kitchen, you see.
Downstairs in this charming cottage, there's also a cloakroom, a utility room and a double bedroom with an ensuite. And upstairs is full of personality too.
So this is the master bedroom.
Wow, yes, nice.
And you have 3 double bedrooms upstairs and a
Okay.
family bathroom.
Nice,
So
yeah.
4 bedrooms in total.
Plenty of head height.
I'll let you explore upstairs on your own in a little while, because it's time to see where your property might be.
Good, good.
Outside, across a gravelled courtyard, is a large double garage with potential to be used as a business setting. But that's not all.
So right in front of us, we have a second cottage.
Right, right.
Now, at the moment, it's being rented out, and to the side of it, you've got a business area.
Yeah.
OK.
But behind me, if that wasn't enough, you've got a studio flat with a mezzanine level. So that could be perfect for running the business, but let's see if the cottage is going to be right for you and for Anne.
Great, yeah.
This attractive detached cottage with its adjoining office was once home to the local smithy.
Wow.
Wow.
I love the floor, yeah.
Tile
Really
floor.
nice.
Space.
Yeah.
You've got a kitchen and you've got a downstairs shower room.
OK.
Upstairs, there are 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Excellent.
Next door, do you remember I mentioned there was an office?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would be inclined to knock that through.
Yes.
And then you've got some additional space for the downstairs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, Peter, be honest. Now, what's your impression of the cottage?
I loved the outside of the cottage, thought it looked really attractive. My immediate reservation was whether it was going to be big enough, but I think the scope.
Before Peter and Richard explore on their own, I want to show them the garden, which is laid out on different levels.
I seem to remember someone saying that they'd like chickens.
Here and there.
There they are.
Oh,
Wow.
wonderful. Wow.
That's your vista.
I think it's wonderful. I
Is
really
it?
do.
And,
Lovely.
and the pub's only 5 minutes
We
down the road.
noticed that.
Did you see it? We
Yeah.
drove in. You can walk to the pub. Location-wise, Southampton, it's important for you both to get down there, isn't it? It's about 15 minutes away.
That is fantastic. That's inside an hour. I mean, that is wonderful.
We've seen the property. Got to ask you now, how much is it on the market for?
Well, my guess would be that it's on the market for 750, but which is our budget. But there's quite a bit of money we would want to spend on it, so I would like to hope it might be on at 700.
OK, so which figure are you going to give me?
I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to say I think it's on for 750.
OK, Richard?
I'm going in the middle, 725, I think.
Interesting. It's more than that. The asking price is £795,000.
In some ways, that doesn't surprise me. There is an awful lot of property here. But from our perspective, we have a budget, and I think there would need to be room for negotiation in there before we could consider it.
Well, the owners are happy to have that conversation with you. Go and have another look. Give me a shout when you're ready to leave.
We will do,
Thank you.
Thanks.
This beautiful thatched cottage with its bonus buildings may be £45,000 over Richard and Peter's budget, but they did say they could nudge their limit up for the right property. And with a separate cottage on site and plenty of potential to accommodate their printing business, they're getting everything they've asked for less than an hour away from family in Southampton.
I think the room is probably slightly smaller than what I'd originally been thinking, but there's plenty of possibilities of doing stuff here.
The kitchen is absolutely stunning, and the ceiling height in there is fabulous for me. The lounge is a major issue for me. It's unfortunately too low.
The annex looks really nice. It seemed from the outside that it was likely to be small inside, and that's the way it turned out to be. But of course, there is the studio. If Anne and I had both of those properties, I think we could make it work for us.
Now, have you seen enough?
Yes, we have. Thank you very much, yes.
And money aside, we got close with our first property.
Well, money aside, this is a really, really stunning property, yes.
A good start.
Very good start,
Excellent, because it is only our first house, because I've got more to show you.
Ooh, looking forward.
Richard and Peter both live near the sea and love sailing on the open water. Wiltshire may be landlocked, but it has the Kennet-on-Avon Canal running through it. So we've sent them to Bradford-on-Avon to the west of the county to meet Rob Dean, chairman of the Canal Trust, to see how they could make the most of this beautiful stretch of water when they make the move.
I get to spend my days helping to look after this wonderful canal. It's only here because of the work of volunteers. Back in the 1950s, there was proposals to close the canal, fill it in, but the group of volunteers wanted to preserve it, wanted to restore it, and we spent 40 years working to help dig it out, get all the locks rebuilt, and now it's a fantastic sort of pleasure playground. So you've come from a sailing background.
Yes, we used to just a little bit more water than this. You know, the sea's a bit wider than your canal here.
Well, it might be a ditch, but it's a very nice ditch.
It's a lovely ditch.
And we look after it, and you can have a lot of fun on it.
200 years ago, this impressive 87-mile man-made waterway transported goods between Bristol and Reading. But now 600 volunteers look after the canal and its surroundings so that locals and tourists can benefit from it. Today, Peter's going to get the chance to take the helm of a canal boat, whilst Richard helps operate a lock, one of 104 along the canal.
Right, this is Peter, our skipper for today.
Hi,
This is
Peter. Pleased to
and
meet
Lee.
you.
Pleased to meet you.
Richard.
Welcome to Barbara McClellan. Peter, if you go on the helm with Brian, who's going to fit you up with your life jackets now. And Richard, if you'd like to go with Des and Pauline there, and they'll show you how to operate the lock gates.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Des, we need to put some water in, so if you'll go round the other side.
OK, I'll do that. Fantastic.
I don't know whether you've operated a lock before.
Not in many, many, many years.
OK. Would you like to have
Nice
a go?
and easy, yeah.
It is very.
As Richard turns the windlass or handle, a small door in one of the lock gates opens, allowing water to flow in.
Outside of the lock and inside are level.
On the boat, Peter's getting a lesson from crew member Brian.
This little lever is the throttle, so it's forward to go forward, back to go back. The further you push it forward, the faster the propeller will turn. The faster the propeller goes, the faster the boat goes.
Yep.
That makes it harder to stop,
Yes,
which is the
sure.
important thing, OK?
Yes.
We maintain a speed limit on the canals of about 4 miles per hour.
Right.
The Barbara McClellan is one of 4 boats on the canal that takes visitors on trips, which take in the beautiful Wiltshire scenery.
Now we're pretty central, so now we'll go forward into the lock.
She's 65 feet long and can carry up to 43 passengers. All of the volunteer skippers are professionally trained and qualified. As Richard turns the windlass again, the water floods out of the lock door, lowering the boat just over 10 feet so it can continue its journey. 400 metres down the waterway, the boat is pulled up by one of the most magnificent landmarks along the canal, the 14th century Tithe Barn.
The wall must have been built at the time of the canal. It was all falling down last year, but we got a crowd of our volunteers to repair it, and they learned techniques using old limestone mortar and have put the wall back in excellent condition now.
It's important work the volunteers also do is they clear all these banks. If you look down the canal here, it's nice and wide now. About 3-4 years ago, it was about a third of the width, and that's just volunteers chopping down the trees and getting rid of the undergrowth.
Under Rob's guidance, the volunteers are taught how to keep the canal and its surroundings in excellent condition, making it a real attraction in the Wiltshire landscape.
It's part of the reason that we got the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service last year, which is the highest award any charity can get in this country, and we're very proud of that.
As volunteers, what do you guys get out of it? What makes you keep coming back?
The waterway attracts lots of wonderful people. People are always happy along the canal. And the very best of those happy people come and volunteer with us and help look after it.
I think we all enjoy just chugging down the canal on a nice afternoon like this, thinking of nothing. It's a great way to spend your time.
That's wonderful. If we find our dream house down here, then I'm sure we'll be on your volunteer list.
Travelling 36 miles west and crossing borders into Somerset leads us to our second property in the village of Buckland Dinham, 10 minutes drive from the town of Frome. The small farming village is perched on the side of a hill with uninterrupted views across the surrounding countryside. It has a great dining pub, a Grade 1 listed church, which in parts dates back 800 years, and a village hall which holds parent and toddler groups, amongst other gatherings for all ages. And a well-equipped playground is a 2-minute stroll from our second house, which sits on a quiet lane in the village with views to the famous Westbury Horse.
So you probably noticed we've crossed the border.
Yes.
How do you feel living in Somerset?
That's fine, yes. Looks very nice, doesn't it? Yeah.
Rather different from the first one we showed you?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Seen too many height issues.
Yeah. So it was built in 1974.
Oh, well, I do quite like the idea of a bit of a newer property.
The stone is locally quarried. It's blue and beige lias stone.
Well, it looks very attractive, doesn't
Very
it?
much so.
Let's get started.
Crossing Wiltshire's west border into Somerset offers Peter and Richard more for their money, and it's still only an hour and 20-minute drive from Southampton. Moving inside, a bright hallway leads to the sitting room.
Wow, very nice, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a nice size. Beams again.
Yeah.
Yeah, beams, but
A lot higher.
you're not going to hit your head. You're not going to hit your head on that beam.
I think it looks very nice. I think there's scope for a little bit of modernising, but it is very nice.
It's a good start then for us,
Very
isn't
good.
it? Follow me. We're going to go through the dining room into the kitchen.
Nice size.
So you've got doors here should you want to close it up.
Excellent.
And not a bad sized kitchen at all.
No, it's nice. It's nice size.
Yes, I think there's plenty of potential here and scope for updating.
They call it the breakfast room, the owners.
Right.
You can views onto your garden.
It's a lovely space. It's free flowing, which is what we wanted.
Just what you've shown us so far, yeah, I think there's quite a bit of potential there.
Definitely.
Well, on that note, let's head upstairs.
Fine.
A galleried landing with a study leads to 3 double bedrooms. There's also a family bathroom, and at the back of the house, overlooking the garden, is the master bedroom.
It's very light. The double aspect is fantastic. And a high ceiling.
A high ceiling, no whacking your head,
No.
and an ensuite.
Which we love.
We're going to go back downstairs, out the front door, because you, young man, have your own front door.
Good, I like that.
Follow me.
Adjoining the property is an extension built in 1989.
So, with its own entrance, we come to the second part of the property.
Wow.
You weren't expecting this, were you?
No, that's very nice, yeah.
That's very deceiving.
You've got
Nice.
kitchen through there. You've got the bedrooms down the hallway, which I'm going to take you to. And you've got all of this space as well, leading out to the garden.
Right,
Wow.
yes. Looks good.
To the back of the annex is the smaller bedroom with its own bathroom.
So this would be the larger of the two.
That's a very nice size.
Yeah?
Very nice, yes.
Generous bathroom as well.
Oh, right.
The sun is shining.
Gorgeous.
Let's go and take a look at the back garden,
Yep,
have a bit more of a chat. I'm also going to ask you about the price.
yes.
The mature gardens surrounding the property have been specially designed to be low maintenance.
I personally think this is a charming garden. It's been divided up. On that side, you've got your vegetable patch.
Yes, yes.
It's really good.
Lastly, your boys, you will have noticed it already, the garage.
Yes.
Yes.
In the back of our minds, we were thinking for the business.
Yes. Yep.
Do you like that idea?
Yep, we do.
So what are we thinking? Asking price for this property.
Well, I would guess 695.
OK. All right, interesting.
I'm going to go on the higher side of that, 750.
750. Well, this is under your budget. The asking price is 650,000.
Right.
Definitely leaves
Well,
a bit of
that's
space.
that is very encouraging.
Very.
Yes.
Do you fancy having another look around now you know that price?
I think we very much would like to, yeah.
Off you go, the two of you. Explore,
Thank you.
enjoy.
A hefty £100,000 under budget means Peter, Richard and their families could make substantial changes to this detached house and its annex to suit their needs. It's got just the number of bedrooms to accommodate the two families and a garden already set up for the good life, but with space for Richard's young children to play too.
Now, I think we'd probably need about 20k to do this and 20k to do your kitchen.
Yeah.
But I
again,
know we are eating the budget up, but at least it's there, isn't
yeah,
it?
we can do it.
As far as this house is concerned, I'm excited enough to say I am virtually certain we will bring Anne and Ruth here to have a look.
I'm not a very emotional person with sort of things like this, but it's got a lot of the things we want, and the chance to put our own kitchen in, how we want it, make the bedrooms and the outside space our own as well. It would be very good.
How are we doing?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Seen enough on your own?
Yes, thanks. Yes,
So
sure.
2 houses in one for our second property.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, time for us now to hit the road.
Great.
It's the second day of our tour of Wiltshire, and Richard and Peter from the Portsmouth area of Hampshire have the princely sum of £750,000 to spend on a 2-in-1 property for their families. They're hoping to find somewhere with the potential to base their business and with a garden big enough for Richard's 2 young children to explore. We'll be asking them to employ a vivid imagination with our mystery house.
It is a tremendous space. It has so much potential.
And I'll be doing my bit to help restore one of the country's greatest cathedrals.
I'm your apprentice. Peter and Richard have a high list of demands and requirements, looking for that perfect property for not one, but 2 families. Now, it is a tough ask, but I think yesterday's houses certainly gave them everything they wanted. Now, although very different in terms of style and budget, it showed both our chaps the possibilities. So I'm hoping today with our mystery house, well, it's going to push them just that little bit further.
Travelling 31 miles northeast takes us back into Wiltshire and the village of Hullerington, 7 miles north of Chippenham. The village is situated on the edge of the so-called Stone Belt, the Wiltshire Cotswolds. Many of its older houses are made from local ragstone, giving them a very distinctive look. Hullerington is well serviced with a pub, a village hall, a parish church and a primary school. On the edge of the village is our third and final property with a rather interesting addition that gives it the title of our mystery house.
Right. Well, you've managed to find one even different to the other 2, haven't you? Yeah.
Very, very different. Any ideas why it might be the mystery house?
Possibly what's behind you.
You spotted it. The Baptist Chapel, not in use anymore, but ripe for conversion.
Ah, right.
So a little bit. You said you didn't mind a project.
Yes.
So you've got a very old cottage.
Yeah.
This dates back
really
to around
nice.
the 1830s.
Okay.
Right.
Shall we start with the chapel first?
Yes, why
Shall
not?
we?
Yeah.
Between the house and the chapel lies a small graveyard.
Because it is work in progress, chapel.
Thank you very much.
There we go. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
The detached chapel built from Cotswold stone dates back to 1820 and until recently was used by a local farmer as a fodder store.
So, gentlemen, here is your chapel.
Right.
It is a tremendous space and it has so much potential.
Yeah. So is it listed?
It is. Now, the cottage isn't, but the chapel is.
Right.
But the good news is planning permission has already been granted.
Okay.
The permission at the moment has been granted that you keep the mezzanine floor, so you've got 2 layers, and then you actually extend out into the garden.
Right.
Okay.
2-bedroom chapel conversion.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Richard, if you want to lead the way back to the cottage, we'll start on your accommodation. Mind your heads.
This period cottage has been extended twice, giving it just the space Richard needs for his young family.
So welcome to your cottage. Actually, I don't think we need these now.
No.
It's quite safe.
Good.
And here it is. As you can see, it's pretty big.
It's huge.
Yes, it is.
It's a lovely size room.
In actual fact, this used to be 2 cottages.
Yes.
Okay.
So plenty of character, plenty of charm,
Plenty of height.
plenty of height.
Just off the sitting room is another area which could be a playroom for the children, and off on the other side is the kitchen.
Now, with this kitchen, as you can see, look at the beams, wonderful, aren't they? It's a long galley kitchen, and the way it's been designed is it makes the most of the views out of the window.
Yes, lovely.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice. It looks quite compact. I was hoping to get something a bit bigger, but I think there's scope here to do something different.
Downstairs there are also 2 studies and a conservatory. And moving upstairs, the warren of rooms continues.
So there are 2 staircases,
Okay.
Right.
because it did used to be 2 cottages.
Yes.
So on this side, you've got the master bedroom and you've got the ensuite.
Right.
And then on the other side, you could actually knock through, you've got 2 further bedrooms and another family bathroom.
Right.
Excellent. Stunning view.
Hopefully, the drizzle will have stopped. So let's head back downstairs and then you can tell me what you think all of this is on the market for.
Sounds good.
Fine.
The landscape gardens also feature a sun terrace and offers endless rural views over the neighbouring farmland.
So you do have a delightful garden, and this is where the extension of the chapel would come out.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Stunning garden. Space for some animals.
And we're north of the M4.
Right.
Okay.
So for you to get back to Southampton, we're thinking around an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
Perfect.
very good.
An important part to discuss is the business.
Yes.
Now, we don't have anything here unless you wanted to put it on site, if you wanted to build like a bigger shed or something over there. But we've looked into it. Malmesbury, which is beautiful, is only 15 minutes away. There is office space to be had there, and it works out at about £5,000 per year.
Right.
Big saving on what we're paying now.
How do you feel about the business being off-site?
But it's currently off-site anyway, so it'd have to be looked at commute to there and back. And there is space here that we could possibly create something within the boundaries of the property.
Yes.
Yeah. There's plenty of rooms in the house for an office.
So how much, then, is our mystery house and chapel on the market for?
I would like to think that it was 500, but my guess is it might be 550, 500 to 550.
Give me a final figure.
550.
OK.
Looking at what's here and what's to do, but I'm erring on the side of higher, so I think 625.
The asking price for all of this, both properties, £500,000.
Excellent.
That does leave you £250,000 to spend. But the one thing I will say is you haven't found that perfect property.
No.
What this does is it comes way under budget and you could potentially
Make it.
create it.
Yes.
That's it. The Mystery House and Chapel hasn't scared you, has it, at all?
No, not at all.
Inspired.
Good. Inspired. We'll go and be even further inspired. Have another look around and, well, tell me when you're ready.
Excellent.
Will do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Stay out the rain.
Try.
And Mystery House is offering Richard and Peter the chance to really put their own stamp on these two properties, coming in at an astounding £250,000 under budget. There are also various possibilities for their business, and sitting in 3/4 of an acre of land, the children would love running around the beautiful gardens with its splendid views.
I love it. I actually really do like it. Very excited about bringing the family here.
I think our wives will think we've probably bitten off a little bit more than we can chew. If they fall in love with the garden and the house, and I think there's a lot to fall in love with there, I think they might be as enthusiastic about the project as we are, yes.
That's it, gentlemen. You've seen all our properties. It's gone so quickly.
Yes, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah. I'm interested now to find out, have we got close with any of them? Are the girls going to be revisiting them soon?
I think so.
Let's go and have a chat and find out.
Yes.
Wiltshire is home to a fine display of architecture, and we've only scratched the surface on our visit here. But there's no denying one of the most resplendent examples in the county is 800-year-old Salisbury Cathedral, proudly showing off its early English Gothic construction. Its 123-metre spire is the tallest in England. Robert Key's been closely involved with the cathedral since he was a young boy when he joined as a chorister.
Rob, I mean, Salisbury Cathedral, it is such an impressive, imposing building. I mean, you can see that spire for literally miles and miles around.
It's breathtaking, isn't it? And every day, people in Wiltshire know they're living with an engineering wonder and the finest medieval cathedral in Europe.
Why is it so special? Why is it head and shoulders above other cathedrals?
It's relevant to our everyday life.
And why is that?
Because inside is the finest of the 4 surviving copies of the Magna Carta.
The Magna Carta was a document drawn up which resulted in the birth of democratic English law which followed throughout the world. It meant there were laws of the land to abide by, taking power away from the king.
So how old is the Magna Carta?
800 years next year. On the 15th of June, 1215, it was sealed, never signed, King didn't sign, at Runnymede, and it was brought here and it has stayed here ever since.
So this beautiful cathedral looks after one of the most important English historical documents, and it takes a lot of work to look after the building itself, to keep it in such pristine condition.
Hi, Gary. Good to meet you.
Hi, Nikki. Nice to meet you.
Gary Price is responsible for a 32-year restoration project that started in 1986 when he was just 17 years old and will finish in 4 years' time.
So you're in charge of all the artisans, stonemasons that are helping to repair the cathedral. So, Gary, what causes the erosion?
The weather, the elements, the wind and the rain, pollution, frost.
Just looking at this particular stone here, it looks like it's crumbling before our eyes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I just show you a little bit that's fallen off here, you can see that you can literally just crumble it away with your hand. Basically, all the goodness has come out of that stone now. It's almost like a rotten bit of timber, really. We couldn't mortar repair, we couldn't conserve that particular stone. We'd probably need to replace it.
Gary has 11 stonemasons in the workshop, all skilled at chiselling the local Chickscrow stone to replicate and replace or conserve the deteriorating pieces.
Would you like to have a go?
I would. I mean, I'm
Just to see what-
presuming it takes years and years of practice, apprenticeship to be good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to damage anything,
No,
am I?
no, it's fine. No, it's just a practice piece. The stonemasons make it look so easy when they do it, and you think, I could do that, you know.
How many years does it take to qualify?
5 years.
Go on then, you show me. Here we go.
It's kind of slow and steady, really, because
Right.
you need to keep this going for 8 hours if you're a stonemason. If you pretend you've got a bit of paper under your arm and you need to keep that bit of paper there, that's how you do it. And basically, what you're trying to do is just nibble away at the stone a little bit at a time.
Gary, when we were standing by the cathedral and I was looking at the stone, I mean, obviously I've got an inexperienced eye, but they all look as if they were slightly different sizes.
Yeah, they are all slightly different, and because of that, we need to take bespoke templates for every single stone. That is why it's so time-consuming. Would you like to have a go?
I'd love to. I'm your apprentice. So just
That's it.
I don't want to go too deep. I look at Salisbury Cathedral and think, I played a very small part in its conservation. This is a true art form, isn't it? Be honest.
It is.
How am I doing?
Yeah, all right, yeah.
So when this is finished, what's the next step? Where does it go?
It will then go up onto the scaffold and be fixed on the building.
And that's where we're heading next, to see how these finely crafted pieces of stonework find a home in the fabric of this splendid cathedral.
We're going to have the best view in the house.
Yeah.
An external lift is taking us up to the northeast side of the cathedral, the area that's currently undergoing restoration.
This is the final resting place for our stone. As you can see here, we have new stone and old stone. The stone is exactly the same age geologically. It's just that this has been above ground for 800 years more than this.
I suppose in 100, 200 years, it's going to start looking like that again.
Yes, yeah, it will.
So when it's done, will you have to start all over again?
No, there'll be maintenance to do on the cathedral, but it won't be the scale of scaffolding all over the building. It'll be left for future generations to come. 2 or 3 generations' time, we'll pick up where we left off.
Keeping it in the magnificence it deserves, the final resting place for the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
Gary, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Well, I hope the weather hasn't dampened Peter and Richard's spirits when it comes to our property. But I wonder which one they're going to be telling their wives about. Should we go and ask them? Do you think you've done your wives proud with this house hunt here in Wiltshire?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes? So you're going to go home quietly confident?
Well, quietly confident that we have a couple well worth their while viewing. Yes.
Ah, that's good. Well, I think you've done them proud. So tell me, which are the two?
Well, I like your mystery house. I'm quite excited with what we could do with that.
You mentioned another property.
Yeah, the second property is very interesting. It has, again, a lot of potential there at a price that we can actually make it work for us and bring it up to our level of what we want.
Is there a preference, or are they both equal?
For me, the mystery house.
Peter?
I think I would go for the mystery house. My only slight reservation is we need to be able to fix the business up on site, and it isn't immediately obvious where that goes. But yes,
Yeah.
the mystery house.
So, Peter, what's the next step going to be?
Well, we're definitely going to come back.
Excellent news.
We want the 2 girls to come and see both the second and the third property. But yes, we're quite excited.
Brilliant. Well, listen, all the best. Let us know how you get on, won't you?
We will.
Thank you.
Even though they think they're going to make the ultimate decision, we all know it's their lovely wives who are going to have the final say. But nevertheless, I'm delighted that Peter and Richard feel confident enough to recommend 2 of our homes to their other halves. So in my eyes, that's a job well done. See you next time.
If you would like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and would like our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.